She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Hey, we pray that your life today or your day today is everything that you desire it to be, that you accomplish great things today, that you do not stay the same as you were yesterday. I have to introduce you to a conversation that I had yesterday as I was meeting with some of the people that I work with each day. And we were talking about identifying what your strengths and weaknesses are. And I've been doing a series of evaluations with several people that are on our team over the last several weeks. And one of the questions that I do ask is, hey, what do you feel like is your greatest strength? And the other is, what do you feel is your greatest weakness? And it's always amazing to me how many people don't know the answer to either one of those questions. There were several in our office that did. They had an answer right away, and they were very self-aware, if you will, and they're working on themselves. But oftentimes when you don't know what the answer is to those questions, you're not self-aware at all. It shows that you're not working actively on making some appropriate corrections. And so one of the conversations that I was having yesterday, where I'm talking about where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? And it's important to identify the things in your life that are stopping you from being there. And I'm not talking about kids or spouses or any of that kind of nonsense. I'm talking about character issues. So if you know who you are right now here today, and then you're looking to the future of where you want to be, there's a gap between skill sets and character issues, perhaps. And so I was confessing that I had looked at myself a few years ago and I saw that, wow, my reactions are terrible. Like my response to circumstances that are not the way that I want them to be is really bad. I was like one of those high drama people that like everything is like, just all of my responses to pretty much everything was like super blown out of proportion, highly dramatic, and just, freaking out and fretting and worrying and things like that. And so that was one of the things that when I looked at myself, I would say, that's going to stop me from being who I need to be in order for us to go to this place where we see ourselves going to. And so today we're going to talk about those reactions, because here's the bottom line in life. It's a guarantee, actually. It's a guarantee. In life, you are going to encounter painful trials of many kinds. There are many fiery darts that are going to be shot at you and your family and your work life, even your health. There's going to be fiery darts that are coming in from all kinds of directions. This is called life here on planet Earth. That is an unchangeable thing. Some of those fiery darts can be prevented, but some of them cannot be prevented. Some of them are sent for a purpose, by design, and for your good, not for your demise. And so I remember when I encountered this piece of wisdom. This is about 15 years ago. It was so rad. And it says, do not be surprised at the painful trials in which you are suffering as though something strange was happening to you. And at that time in my life, I literally chuckled at that. And it was like, I don't know, I read a lot of different things, but this thing was like, I was halted. Do not be surprised at the fiery trials that you are suffering, as though, is my favorite part, as though something strange was happening to you. Here on the Dani Johnson Show, we bring you topics and content and things to think about and strategies and skill sets to help you turn your life into what you desire it to be. Instead of living your life by default, you choose to live it out by design. But one of the things that stop you from living your life by design is your reaction to the painful trials and fiery darts and sufferings in which you're encountering. And as I said earlier, your life is going to have frustrations. You're going to be angry. There's things that are going to cause you to want to pull your hair out. There's other things that are going to cause you to want to be depressed because of disappointment. Today's show is not about me being a Debbie Downer, baby. This is about the reality of life and what has to change in me, what has to change in you in order for us, you and me, to get to where we want to go. So I want you to look at the mirror today, because today is a good day to look at yourself and go, what are my reactions through a trial? How do I respond when things aren't going the way I want them to? And is that stopping me? Is that hindering me from becoming the person I need to be so I can get to the place where I want to go? Maybe you don't even know where you want to go. If that's the case, you and I need to have another conversation, because you need to know where you want to go, Joe. So we asked some friends on Facebook. By the way, if you haven't come over and joined us on Facebook yet, what are you waiting for? Come on, get over here. Same with Instagram and Twitter. We're on there. Come on, you can join us. There's like 320-something thousand people that have something, or it's close to that, Anyway, but come on over. You will meet an amazing community, some of which the people have been interviewed on the show, and some of which they've called in on the show. So you actually get to see the face. In fact, if you're on Facebook right now, come over and say hi. Let me know that you're watching today's program. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we did ask the question on Facebook, hey, so what? Have you ever experienced disappointments and arguments and curveballs, that seem to come out of nowhere? What is your response? How are you going to fix those kinds of responses? So first, we got Laura Love from Glendale Hills, California. Welcome to the show. Laura Love.
Gratitude for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
So glad to have you. So what about you? When a curveball comes at you, a fiery dart comes at you, what's your response?
Well, if I'm honest with myself, I really need to work on my responses when I'm thrown off. I do my best to not take things personally, but I often don't succeed. I'm sure I come off like a jerk to people, super rude or offended, or I just have a crappy attitude. I've been working on it, and I have improved. I come from really dark, negative attitude, and now I'm not nothing but I am positive, love, light. I pray every day.
That's awesome.
I'm really focusing on myself and trying to change myself spiritually, mentally, and then I don't follow through due to lame excuses and the feelings of discouragement, maybe rejection. And it's really silly. Like I said, it's getting better through practice, but I know I must push through and step up.
Laura, answer me this question. So if you fast forward 5 years from now, and with the trajectory that you've been on, right, the path that you've been on of okay, my responses are rude when things don't go my way, right? 5 years from now, where do you think that's going to take you?
Well, I've already developed more anxiety. I feel myself pulling back more from the people that I'm usually more open with. So I feel in 5 years it'll just be worse. It'll be more of me withdrawn, more of a hermit, and that's not me at all.
Yeah. Isn't that wild when you really look at it? Because, on a day-to-day basis, we just live our lives, right? And we're not really looking at our actions and, multiply, keep practicing the bad action. Where does it take me 5 years from now? It's not a good place, right? Because if you're already feeling all the anxiety that you feel from that way of life, I've got to find something different. And so
exactly,
the reality is that I just have to break down and just say this, okay? I recently had a conversation with two adults who were acting like two children. Seriously, I did. And I literally just went, you are disrespecting me in my house by speaking to that individual like that. And that is not allowed here. So if you'd like, I would love to put your adult butt in the corner, as I did with my 4-year-olds when they were dishonoring other human beings in my household. So would you like to put your nose in the corner? Would you like to apologize to the person you just disrespected and dishonored? And would you like to make some things right? Because sometimes...
I'm also working on that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's grow the heck up, right?
Yes.
Come on. Like, grow the heck up. Stop this nonsense already. Because sometimes we can just sit there and go, get all philosophical and psychological and, I gotta find out, why am I this way? Just stop it already. Grow up. That's kind of what I had to say to myself. It's like, this is dumb. I am acting like a stinking 7th grader. This is stupid. Enough is enough. Seriously.
Absolutely. I'm acting like a 7th grader half the time while raising one. Well, my daughter's in 8th grade now.
Right? Okay, so I got to tell you this. All right, so my second daughter called me recently. We are the family that we believe in, that there needs to be correction and discipline on a child. And I wrote about this in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. Well, our grandson is 18 months old, all right? And my daughter has taught him that when he disobeys, he puts his nose in the corner, right? He puts his hands right behind his back. He sticks his nose in the corner. And so when Nona's around, I'm Nona. I don't want to be called grandma. Anyway, so when Nona's around, here's my answer. It's like, no crying. And so I go over to him and I give him the what do they call it? Oh, darn it. When you talk with your hands if you can't hear. Sign language. The sign language for quiet, like be quiet, right? So I take my fingers, I give him the sign language. And we were up in Oregon and Washington with him, and he was like, ah! As she put him in the corner. So I went over to him and I looked at him and I gave my fingers to tell him time to be quiet. And he did. And he just sat there quietly inside the corner. So my daughter calls me about a week ago and she goes, you are not going to believe this, Mom. Anthem went to throw a fit. And she goes, and I looked at Anthem and I said, no. And he put himself in the corner.
Teach them while they're young, definitely.
He put himself in the corner. He knew he was busted. So he put his own nose in the corner, put his hands behind his back, and he was quietly waiting there. So, Mama, that's what I'm going to tell you. Laura Love, so you might just need to put yourself in the corner, turn around and talk to yourself. Listen, honey, you're in your 30s. You are acting like a teenager. Enough of this stupid overreacting to these things and being rude to people when you know you shouldn't be. It's time to honor and respect.
Thank you so much, and you're so right. It's good to be able to laugh at it and not take it so personal. I've been working on it.
Yes.
I thank you for a lot of the strategies that I went to First Steps to Success. I went to Orlando, creating a dynasty.
Wow.
And I have been blocking myself, creating excuses, and now I'm finally starting to implement.
So proud of you, Laura. Good job. God bless you. Thanks so much. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
When life throws you a curveball, what do? Coming up next, Dani shows you how your reaction affects the outcome. You don't want to miss it.
Do you dream about feeling more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? But instead, you're that girl that never learned to do their makeup, and now you feel lost in a sea of YouTube makeup tutorials. Or you're that new mom that can't get enough sleep at night and just wants to feel pretty again. Or the busy professional that wants to magnetize brand new clients and get more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, xmhbeauty.com will help you. Our company has a proven track record of making beauty available on any budget, from celebrities to girls just like you and me. Our live classes, step-by-step tutorials, and insider secrets will have you standing out from the crowd. Go to xmhbeauty.com/Dani today to get your free gift from us. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
It's time for a checkup from the neck up. It's the Dani Johnson Show.
You know, sometimes you got to put yourself in timeout. You realize that, don't you? Just sometimes you got to put yourself in timeout. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. What are your responses when things don't go your way? Come on, we live on planet Earth. We're human and we screw up. Otherwise, you ain't human. But we really have got to look at ourselves and look at our own character and really evaluate ourselves and see what are the characteristics that I have that are hurting me from the kind of future I want to have, hurting me from the current relationships I desire to have, hurting me from the kind of job or income I want to have. Because who you are as a person determines how pleasurable that marriage is, how simple the raising kids is. It is. And how you get promoted in your career. It's all on you. How you respond to things, how you react. Do you get angry? You get frustrated? We've put this question to our Facebook friends today. We've got people who have called in to talk about their reactions and how they're moving through them. This is Dani Johnson. Julie Berry, welcome to the show from Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Good. So what about you? How do you handle your curveballs?
Sometimes not right. Sometimes it's just, it catches me off guard. I try to not react, but just recently I just did not handle the last curveball I got. And I really had to just take it before the Lord and just pour out my heart, because I was just in shock. I was angry. I was confused, and I felt rejected. And, he is so faithful. He's so faithful. So here I am. I'm 46, and my husband is 52. And we've lost 4 babies through the years, and very traumatic losses. And I just found out after several years that I'm pregnant, and I wasn't expecting it, and it's a blessing, but it's not what I thought God's timing would be. And
wait, so God doesn't customize. He doesn't do things your way.
Exactly. Somebody had prophesied over me a year ago, and almost everything that he talked about from my past and my present and what was going through really was right on. And he chuckled and he said, God's got something in store and then he said, I can't talk to you about it. He said, but God loves to surprise people. And he totally caught me off guard, because I gave away almost everything that I could give away of my baby items. And I had moved on, and I had peace in where I was and where our family was. And I just wasn't expecting this at all. And
how far along are you?
I'm I don't know exactly, because the medical establishment really kind of gives women a hard time if they're beyond 35 years old.
Yep.
And so I've decided that until my second trimester, unless something goes wrong, I'm not going in, because I don't want to be pressured to have all sorts of tests and procedures that are not going to change the fact that, the life is in me because God put it there.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably guessing I'm between 7 weeks, right, or maybe 8 weeks. But
wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Just,
you know what? I want to point two things out on that. Number one, I have seen God do things like that only after we have fully surrendered and given up. Again and again and again. When we just fully surrender and we fully give up, that's when He can be God and meet us in a new place and a new way. And so I think even in this, just fully surrendering and just loving His timing and loving whether this is another baby that you'll meet in heaven or this is a baby that you'll hold in your arms, that you fully surrender all trust, all full abandonment to Him. And you just walk in that peace for however long that this child's in your life. And Lord, I trust you. That's the only thing we can do. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
If you've ever wanted to make millions, change the world, be the voice for the voiceless, and have a blast doing it, then you need to spend some time with this lady right here. She's been doing it for years, and she'll show you how. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, first steps to success in creating dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in two completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know in my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com, go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
And prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months. Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college. And I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling in the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role and that I had actually taken my husband's. And it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what? We need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
The greatest weapon that you and I have against stress is that we have the ability to choose one thought after another, and even one thought over another. I've said this for years. Feelings often can deceive us. Facts don't lie, but feelings often do. And feelings are nothing but emotions. And those emotions can be signals. Some of those feelings and emotions can come from things from our past. Others, there really is a real live enemy that likes to shoot thoughts into our head to get us to agree with those thought patterns, and then we begin to act those out. But we can choose not to act those out. We can choose to control our own thoughts and to hold them captive and to really go, wait a second, do I want that into my life or do I not want that in my life? I used to be a massive overreactor, highly dramatic person when curveballs were thrown at me. Yes, I would get so stressed out, freak out, fret, and worry that this was hindering my marriage. This was hindering my ability to raise my kids. It was hindering who I was in the community. It was hurting my business, hurting my future. So that's what we're talking about today, because listen, you're living your life by design. You're watching this show. You're making a commitment to not living your life according to status quo of our society and what they say is success. No, you're living your life according to what it is for you, defining success for you, custom made for you, how you want to live. If that's being a stay-at-home parent, homeschooling your kids, and that to you is your desires, your heart's desire, then that is success for you. Living debt-free, then that is success for you. Building a multi-billion-dollar corporation, then that's success for you. But success is not a, one-size-fits-all for everybody under the same, everyone has to have a billion-dollar company in order to be successful. Everyone has to have a big house in order to be successful. Oh, that's just a big fat lie. You were designed with something perfect in mind. You were designed with a purpose and a calling that calls out of you. And sometimes what can hinder us to reaching that destiny is, our reactions to the curveballs in life. So we've got Scott on the line from Los Angeles, California. Scott, how do you handle those curveballs today?
Oh, wow. That's basically what I do is the first thing I do is I look at my past. January 19, 1992, I got hit by a drunk driver when I was walking out of a restaurant.
Oh!
So I look at the positive and just say, for one, I'm alive. So that's the first thing I do. Wow. Because being alive is important. Wow. But also what I do is when I was feeling really down about a couple of years ago, I started going online searching for answers, and I don't know what it was, but I kind of started off with Brian Tracy, then went to Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, then it ended up with you. So I just kind of use your inspiration and just try to keep me positive, because right now my curveballs are employment and trying to get a business going, and it's just like nothing's really happening in that. Mm-hmm. I have a job that doesn't really pay a lot of money, and so I'm really struggling financially. And I've been trying to find work for the past couple of years, and I always get the same response: is you're overqualified or underqualified. Mm-hmm. So I kind of think it's like age discrimination, maybe. But it's kind of hard to prove that.
Okay, listen to me, Scott. You need to kick this discrimination thing out to the pit of hell. Number one. That mindset will never help you get a better job. Number one. Number two, have you ever heard of job domination?
I saw, but right now I'm just really hurting.
Hold it, Scott. Excuses are well-planned lies. You cannot afford to stay stuck another year. True or false?
Yeah, you got that right.
Right? Your excuses have kept you in a job that doesn't pay very well. So my question is when are you going to move past your excuses?
Well, it's just frustrating because I applied for I got laid off at a hospital and I put in over 110 applications and I still haven't got, hired back.
I know. Hold it, Scott. Job domination. You are not trained on how to compete in today's market, which is why you can put out 100 applications in Los Angeles, California and not get the job. There's obviously something you're missing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm ugly or what,
What if I could show you what it is that you're missing? What if you could be shown what it is that you're missing? I guarantee you could have 3 job offers in the next 7 days if you press play today. Or your money back. Ready to take me on?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Go to DaniJohnson.com right now. No more excuses. The answer's been in front of you the whole time, but you used your excuses not to step into the answer. I just got off the phone with Paul Wessling. Paul Wessling got a hold of job domination 4 years ago. When he started applying it, at the time when he picked it up, mind you, he was facing layoff. His company had been laying off the pillars of the corporation who had been there for 25 years. One after another being picked off. So he knew he was next on the list. He gets a hold of job domination when he's thinking he's about to lose his income and he's about to lose his job. He utilized the strategies that were in there. There were 3 specific things that were inside of that 8-hour training that he applied instantly, and he doubled his income. Not only did he not get laid off, he became more valuable in the job. Since that time, he now has tripled his income and has paid off $150,000 worth of debt. Hold on. Brendan Moran, 25 years in the same company up in Pittsburgh area, Pennsylvania area. Same thing. Dead-end job. Thinks there's no opportunity ahead for him. Hates his job. Can't stand the people that he works with. He gets a hold of job domination. He didn't double his income. He didn't triple his income. He went on from a dead end making the same amount that he made for years and years and years. No bonuses, no raises, no nothing. After 25 years, okay, he gets a hold of job domination. And he made $90,000 in that first year using the strategies in job domination.
Wow.
Scott, you're next. Job domination isn't some stupid motivational talk. It is literally step 1, step 2, step 3. It's not about, let's fix your head and get your emotions straight and do some ta-da-da-da-da-da spiritual nonsense crap. No, it's like, say these words. Make your resume look like this. Say these things in your resume. Write this inside of your cover letter. Say this to the person that answers the phone at the corporation. Write this in a card to the person that just interviewed you. Here's the closing question to ask the person who is interviewing you. I had a woman it was a single mom for 3 years. A single mom of 3 kids who was out of work for 3 years. She could not find a job. Here she hears about job domination. It was when we taught the thing live. We recorded it, and that's now the product. So she hears about job domination. She gets the email. And do you know what she said, Scott? She said, I can't afford it. That's what she said. She was out of a job for 3 years, no longer had unemployment. Unemployment runs out after 2 years, right? So the girl's on welfare. And here she just accepted this ridiculous existence. And here she thought, by the way, it was because she's black and she's a female. That's why I can't find a job. There must be discrimination against me. Number one, that's a baloney size, huge, dumb way to think. Don't think like that. People who believe there's discrimination against them are the ones who find discrimination against them. I'm not saying there's no discrimination, but if you think there is, you will be the one to attract it to you and find it. So here's what happened to her. This is a crazy story. So the next week, she gets another email saying, here's part 2 of job domination. And she realized, and we had stories in there because people already applied it, already found jobs. After that first week, already put out cover letters, already rewrote their resumes, already found ways to find a job. So what happens? She gets the next email. We have testimonies in there of people who already implemented those strategies. She sees that email and she goes, ugh, I should have got in when things started. She spent her diaper money for her baby to get job domination. She was in that next class. In 3 weeks, she had 3 job offers. She took another strategy inside of Job Dom to get the 3 job offers to compete against each other as she ratcheted up the salary that she negotiated in the job. So she got the highest salary, making more money than she did 3 years ago when she got laid off the first time. In 90 days, she got promoted 3 times using the second part of job domination. Again, it's not motivation. It is not a head talk or a pep talk. You won't find anything, any product on our website that is a head talk or a pep talk. No. Here's the steps you take. These are the words you say. Here's who you say them to. Here's how to get past the gatekeeper at the job you're trying to get. Here's how to look different than the other 1,000 applicants in the 1,000 hospitals that you're trying to apply for that job for. Here's how you please your boss in such a way that he doubles your income or he bonuses you. Here's how to find where the things that maybe you're doing wrong that are hurting your reputation and causing you to get on another layoff list. You can't afford, Scott. You cannot afford it. Here are just two stories. I could tell you stories for hours and hours and hours. Go to the site now. No more excuses. Get it right this minute. You can press play. In 2 minutes, you'll be listening to the training and follow everything that you're taught in those 8 hours, and you're going to have a job. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
When you're going through a hard time, it's easy to wonder if God knows what you're going through. After the break, Dani will answer that question once and for all.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
My name's Derek, and this is my wife, Michelle, and we're the Holland Sheds. We live in Covina, California, about 45 minutes from here, and we're extremely honored to be able to share our story. And when we were approached about it, I was kind of thinking, well, where do I start? Where do we start? But I'm going to start a few years back before there was a Michelle and Derek. Actually, I was actually debt-free, and kind of going along pretty good. And then a funny thing happened. I got married, and I married into debt, and okay, we're gonna do fine. We'll pay it off, and life will be good. But a funny thing happened was that didn't seem to happen. And as a result, it just kind of thinking it's going to happen, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and something always happens, and and the result is debt doesn't get paid. So it starts becoming like an old friend. And then unfortunately the marriage failed, but I was able to meet Michelle, and we got married, and married into debt again. Only now it's a little bit bigger, but at least the house that I had, this was during the housing boom, so used some of the equity in the house to pay that debt off, and okay, we got a clean state. Let's go forward. And but in our early days in our marriage, we had some difficulty as far as being on the same page financially, and Michelle will share a little bit more about that. And I guess it's a good point for me to hand it over to her.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Like Derek said, honestly, you guys, the first 7 years of our marriage, when I came into our marriage, Derek he paid my debt all. And I ran our debt up 3 different times in the first 7 years of our marriage, you guys. I would have never imagined being in that spot. Derek didn't trust me. And it finally got to a place where, my gosh, I can't keep doing this. I was pretty much told to come to this event by a good friend of mine, and it was the best thing she could have said to me because it's what I needed. I would have not have come had I not have had that charge and challenge that way. The moment I got here and we saw the war, I saw the war on debt, I said, this is it. This is our ticket. This is what's going to help us go to the next level. This is what's going to help us. You guys, we've since in 33 months, we have paid off over $159,000 worth of debt. We have money in savings. We have $300,000 in assets, income-producing assets. We continue to plug in. I was the first one to come, but immediately afterwards, I told my husband I couldn't wait. I called him. I told him about War on Debt. He immediately said, let's do it. We had some friends that hosted a War on Debt class there right after, and we went to it, and we found $502 worth of excess spending our first month, and we revisited our budget after that, and then we thought we were just broke, living paycheck to paycheck. We were overwhelmed. We felt hopeless. I never would have thought I would lose my husband's trust, and the techniques, the strategies that Dani Johnson teaches you guys helped us save our marriage, our finances, our communication. You guys, we started out with, my favorite product is spiritual equipping, and I know Darren has a favorite product.
We're on debt, and you think?
You guys, we kind of bought things one by one. However, you guys have a great opportunity outside that door, that table out there, where you can buy the whole DJ University curriculum, and you get almost $1,000, over $1,000 off. So you have either option, but that's a great opportunity for you. Don't let anything stop you guys. There is hope, there is life, and I'm very grateful and honored to be here. So without further delay, you guys, help us welcome back America's favorite millionaire and our mentor and coach, Dani Johnson.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
I've got to read this quote to you. The righteous cry, and the Lord hears, and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who have a crushed spirit. I don't know if you're in that place right now where you haven't yet crushed your own spirit, where you have not yet gotten broken by the circumstances that are around you, but there's something so powerful that happens when you do. Because life is full of curveballs. It's full of problems. It's full of things that can frustrate you. And it's also full of your own stupid choices that cause you to stay stuck in a rut, that cause you to stay positioned in a place that is not for winning, but positioned for losing. And that's based on our own stupid choices. But sometimes curveballs are thrown at us to test us, to strengthen us, to cause us to rise up, to give us an opportunity to learn new skills and strategies so that we never end up in that low, debilitating, stupid place, again, of making mistake after mistake after mistake. But this passage that I just gave you, this piece of wisdom, I choose to stay broken. I choose to stay in that place of being crushed and fully surrendering myself so that my God will continuously rescue, redeem, and ransom me. Because I have lived too many years thinking I had it all together, trying to do it my own way, trying to stand strong on my own 2 feet. I'm weak, man. And when I can recognize my own weaknesses, that is when he can be made strong. So we're talking about curveballs. We're talking about how to handle them. I just gave you one of my tips on that. But now we're going over to Roger Potter from Minnesota. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hello, young lady.
Thank you. I like being called that.
I'm old enough to be your father, so...
Hi, Dad! That makes me a young lady, even though I'm a grandmother. That's awesome. So what about you, Paul? How do you handle, now that you're in my father's age bracket? I'm sure life has taught you a few things along the way. How are your reactions to curveballs?
Well, I love curveballs. My first curveball that caught me was when I was born. I was born a blue baby with congenital heart disease, and in 1952 I had open heart surgery. Wow. So everything since that has been elementary.
Nice.
And the more curveballs I get, the more I learn, the stronger they make me, and the more I get educated.
Yes. I could cry a river right now. You know what? I'm going to tell you why I can cry a river that. When I look at my children, and I look at the season that they're in, I've got 28-year-old, 23-year-old, 21-year-old, 18, and 16. And I look at how they are walking through life, dealing with life, and how they're making decisions. And, a couple of them are kind of those high, passionate reactors, Latin type of people. And then a couple of them are more low-key and more peaceful. And then I look at where I'm at and I go, dang. I don't want to say that if I could go back, you know what I mean? I don't want to say that because I wouldn't be where I'm at today had I didn't go through the curveballs that I had to, just like what you're saying, born blue with the heart disease. But I look ahead with my attitude about life today I have the same attitude of like, bring it on. Bring it on. Because at this stage in life, we know we're going to get the chance to learn something. This is not going to kill us, right? Paul? I mean, Roger? Isn't that true?
It will never kill you.
Yeah.
And that's what some people cannot understand. They have a mindset which says, oh, this curveball, I'm so afraid of it. But if they just let it happen, and instead of reacting to it, they act to it, survey what's been done, and learn from it, and go on.
Yes. That's why I think I'm excited about what's ahead. Because there's enough life lived so far, like what you're saying. There's peace in that, isn't there, Roger?
There is so much peace in letting it happen, acting, learning about why it happened, and then either don't repeat it again or learn from your mistakes.
Yep. Absolutely. So I have a question for you. In your earlier years, I don't care if it was in your 20s or your teens or your 30s or your 40s, I mean, have you always had this view on life, or was there a season of your life where you would react to circumstances that stunk?
It was when I was 17. I happened to be in a store. There were these three couples, early 50s, late 50s, early 60s. That meant they were born about 1905 to 1910.
Wow.
All they did for a half an hour was gripe and complain about their lot in life, their aches and pains, and everything in between.
Wow.
And after listening to this for half an hour, I said, is this going to be me when I get to their age? Or am I going to learn from what they are doing and go during a different route?
Yes.
And I decided, I don't want to be like that when I'm 50.
Yeah.
I don't. I caught myself at age 40, and it's been different all the time. Of course, I got a strong mindset. I got a strong personality. I got a strong attitude. So when I hear people complaining even now, it's like, good Lord, people, look at your life. There must be something good about you that you can capitalize on.
Yes. Man, I'm blessed by you today because it's a reminder. Look at that. At 17 years old, number one, I'm convicted because the fact is our kids do hear us Other young ones hear us, they see us, they hear what we talk about, they see how we're living our lives, they see how much stress we decide to bring into our lives, because I really believe that stress is an invitation. I really do. Stress is an invited thing into our lives. And how much of it is personally invited.
Filled with anxiety.
Exactly. And that's our own choice. That's our own weak mindset. That's our own weak emotions. But stress is an invited thing only. It is something that we say yes to, and then we build on it. We magnify it with our emotions, and we choose to make it a bigger deal than what it actually is, which then causes more stress. And so, but our kids are watching, and they are looking at us going, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Either that or they're going to be that, because they don't have the strong mindset to go, I'm going to do whatever it takes to not be griping and complaining about how rotten my life is when I'm 50 years old.
Oh.
I love it.
And the root of anxiety is fear.
Yep. And fear is something we create all by ourselves.
And it cripples us.
Yes, it does. Yep, it does. It absolutely cripples us. And it is a choice. Fear is a choice. Anxiety is a choice. Worry is a choice. And we can choose faith. We can choose peace. We can choose vision. We can choose hope in the face of all of those things. And it completely changes the outcome in every way.
And I even cured myself of claustrophobia in 8th grade by realizing that the walls are not coming toward me. It's my mind telling me they are coming toward me.
Man, this is awesome. Roger, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate the life that you've lived, the example that you've set. Thanks for sharing what you just shared with us. That's actually a perfect way to end this segment right here. This is Dani Johnson. We'll be back after this. Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Let me ask you something. Do you dream about being more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? Are you that girl who never learned to wear makeup and now you're lost in a sea of YouTube videos? That busy mom who can't get enough sleep and just wants to feel pretty again? Or maybe you're that professional who wants a little more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, celebrity makeup artist Xtina Harmsworth from XMH Beauty will help you. Xtina has a track record of making beauty easy on any budget. Her live classes, simple step-by-step professional beauty techniques and insider secrets will set you apart from the crowd. So don't sit on your dream another minute. Learn from the best. Get your exclusive free gift from Xtina today at xmhbeauty.com/Dani. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI. I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
So what is success? A big house? A big title? A big fat paycheck? Dani Johnson has had them all, and you need to hear what she discovered when she had them.
Bottom line is that everything in our life is a choice. It is. You know you've taught your kids that. It's time for you to live by it. You know that you even taught some of your staff that. But it's time you live by it. Today, make wise choices that instead of reacting, you choose to be in peace and not give up your peace because of something that doesn't go the way you thought it should, or it just completely blindsided you. Choose peace, choose faith, choose hope, and knowing that this curveball is an opportunity to learn a new skill, a new strategy, or an opportunity to look at what caused it. Survey it, as we heard Roger say, survey it to see what would I do different to not have this one happen again. I love that. So listen, you know what? There's real people out there who are in real dire straits of bad circumstances. Recently, I was in Nicaragua visiting the poorest of poor, the extreme poor. And you know what I find to be so crazy? That even though Maria lives not in a house, you can't even call it a shelter, she lives she lives in a dump, like a real literal dump. You know, trash, because that's the only place she can live. And what is the dwelling? It's a bunch of scrap metal and scrap wood and scrap plastic that she her and her children fished out of the dump. Now, those are some real problems. But if you were to sit and talk with her, you would still see a smile on her face. You would even still see a peace inside of her heart. Works so hard, doesn't know if there's going to be food there tomorrow, and yet still chooses to believe that God hears her prayers and that she's going to be rescued one day. Well, guess what? You and I could be the answer to her real prayers. You and I could be the answer to bless her. It only cost $5,200 to build Maria a house for her and her children, getting her out of the dump, the little trash dump, getting her away from the terrible smoke, helping to sustain her with giving her some chickens, teaching her how to raise chickens so that she can sell them and eat them. Also, showing her how to sew, giving her a sewing machine and giving her lessons on how to create textiles and dresses that she can sell in the marketplace and never return to that level of broke again. Imagine the life that could change for her for only $5,200, her and her children alike. We can do that for 1,000 different families. It's only $5.2 million to help 1,000 families get out of that kind of poverty. Join me on this adventure. Go to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. It's amazing what happens when you reach out to help people you'll never meet or never know. The blessing that comes upon you knowing that you're doing such a good thing. Instead of just fattening yourself up with more junk food and Starbucks, rather than just bloating yourself with more video games and entertainment, that you actually put purpose to money. Go to kingsransom.org. You'll see it, transforming Nicaragua, 1,000 homes we're going to build. Let's start with Maria's today. God bless you, and I hope to talk to you tomorrow.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This is The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're going to make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.